Good afternoon, Bobcat Nation. Welcome to another edition of the Bobcat Blitz Sports Update. Kind of a special edition here. I'm actually coming to you live from City Green. I have the day off for the first time in years. I haven't been to the City Green during the daytime. I end up picking up time when they're going to set up some kind of festival here. I'm about to go move, but I want to thank y'all for joining us here. Historic Friday episode of Bobcat Blitz Sports Update. Guys, got a bunch of things going on before I have my first guest on here. I've got a really special day planned here from Northport. 5 o'clock, the Elevate Foundation. We put the link in again today. Doing a fantastic thing for Northport High School football. They're going to have a fundraiser tonight between 5 and 8, and they're going to proceeds to help out your Bobcat football. And if that's not enough, you can go there for a couple hours. You can go back to the preserve where boys soccer regionals. That's right. They get to start off their regionals after winning district last week. They'll be up and running. Students, the first 50 that show up, you get in for free. So great night planned for you guys. A lot of stuff happening right now. Again, we've been talking about a week or two now. We have the intersection of spring sports starting to get going. Winter sports are coming to an end. We got a couple of things out there I'm going to talk here in just a minute. But guys, got to address something real quick. I've had I've had several people ask me, why are we not covering more sports like the girls weightlifting? That's just an example because that's happening right now, and I don't have the results. And if you're new to the show as a viewer, John and I, were just volunteers. We have zero access to the coaching staff, and we have tried for 2.5 years now to get everybody on our show. We love everybody. We want the big sports, the medium sports, the lesser sports, and if they're not on our show, it's because their coaches don't want to be on our show. So parents, I have a challenge for you. Please, if you want your kid on our show, if you want their sport on their show represented, you have to help me reach out to these coaches, give them, hey, Sean's out there. He would love to have you, love to highlight your show. So guys, again, it's not that I'm anti your sport. I just can't get the coaches to come on, which is not a problem for our first guest. We've had the nappies on now several times, and I do thank them for that. We actually wanted to grab them today because they have something special going on next week, and they're going to be out of town for a little bit of that. So, Miss Nappy, are you there?
Yes.
All right. I know who wants to go first. We want to go move mountains, or do you want to go with wrestling? Or do you want to do a little bit back and forth? What's the best for you two, time-wise?
It's up to you.
All right. Well, let's start with move mountains first. I want to tell a story, Miss Nappy, because again, a lot of people joined our show over the last year or two. I met you guys for the first time back after one of the storm events, and I was at work, and we actually had power out and all that. And I said, you know what? I've got time. Let's go find you guys. I highlighted you guys because you are our only organization that has student athletes in significant numbers that can help volunteer outside of their individual team. I know a lot of teams have their own volunteer this and that. So, they'll go out and help do sod work or gardening or that. But your organization, yes, it's for students, but you also have a lot of Northport High School student athletes who joined to help out. Why don't you give us a little background on what the heck is Move Mountains and why did I bring you out here today because of your event coming up?
So we became a 501c3 in early 2019. So we're coming up on 7 years.
Wow.
We focus on children serving the community. So when Steve and I first started trying to volunteer with our kids, we've got 4 kids. They're now 18, 16, and the twins are 14. But at the time they were much younger, and we couldn't find anywhere to volunteer with them that would take kids that young. So we started just kind of doing our own thing, and then friends joined in, and it kind of snowballed from there. At the time I was teaching at Woodland. I had 8th grade science, and just being with the kids, they inherently want to help. They just don't know how or where. So we decided that we would create our own organization that welcomes kids of all ages. And it's kind of like under our own umbrella. We're able to go to places and help that they wouldn't be able to go to otherwise.
Right. And right there, Ms. Nappy, let's pause for a minute. So a lot of people don't realize that volunteers, I ran this with my daughter as well when she was younger. A lot of places won't take under a certain age group because of liability issues. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you guys found a way to make it so that they can go. How young can they go with your group?
It depends on where we're going, but generally speaking, there's not really an age limit. We have our own insurance. So when we do go out to places, we're also we're covered by our own insurance as well. Rescue Garage, we've had kids as young as 3 and 4.
Whoa, wow.
Like cleaning the empty cages and, sweeping, things like that, or just hanging out with puppies. We go to Northport Pines Assisted Living Facility every month, whether we're playing games or doing arts and crafts or bringing them holiday gifts or whatever. Obviously, there's not an age requirement for that. Our friends there like to see all the kids. So,
of course.
Yeah. So really, there's not any age requirement for us. We do say that if the kids are 12 or younger, they need to have an adult stay with them, because we can't babysit, especially if we don't know the kids yet. It just puts us in a weird situation. So the parents of kids under 13 do stay with them.
So I came out to your event. It was a cleanup. Do you remember that? It was a storm cleanup. I don't remember that day. Yeah. And you got my attention because I forgot how we met originally, but you had a high level of student athletes on there, and this show is primarily for the student athletes. So how did that start creeping in? How did you end up getting a reputation for having student athletes showing up to help out? Was that part of your boys brought them in, or they just needed some hours?
Yeah, when we started, all my kids were middle school and elementary school, but we created clubs at the schools. So before COVID, we had clubs at all of the schools with the exception of Glen Ellen. So we were at all the Northport schools. COVID messed that up for a couple of years. And then by that point, I was back to my other full-time job. So that got a little bit difficult. We were at Woodland up until last year, and then the staff member that assisted us with that is no longer there. Yeah, basically we were at all the schools. And then once Austin, he's now a freshman at USF, once he was in high school, started wrestling, he had buddies that were playing baseball. We had kids that we knew that were swimming, and it just kind of went from there.
Sure. I love it.
The cheerleaders have come out quite a few times to help at Rescue Garage.
Excellent. And I was going to say, these hours, obviously you got to wait till your high school to count for the 100 hours for Bright Futures, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Excellent. So, and not that we want kids not to wait till then to start, but that's fantastic. So I brought you on here because you got a lot going on. Your board is getting huge. You got conferences all the time. What do you have going on next week? I really want to hype that today.
So this weekend, we actually have a bag lunch event where we make bags. The kids will make sandwiches and they decorate bags. We pack them up with snacks and stuff. And we bring those to Jesus Loves You Ministries in Port Charlotte. And then they bring them out to the campers themselves. So we have that on Saturday. Next Sunday, we have a fundraiser. So it's a quarter auction. And we will be at the VFW in Northport, over on Trot Circle. And doors open at 3:30. The event starts at 4:30. It'll probably run until about 6:30-ish. Children are welcome at that venue to volunteer, even though it's gambling. But because it's for a nonprofit, it's a little bit different situation.
Oh, I love it.
So they'll be there and they go through, collect the quarters. They also serve dinner. So the VFW cooks, they do all kinds of stuff. And then the kids will deliver the plates to the people, from the kitchen to the tables. So parents, any adults out there that are watching, if you guys want to come out and support us, it's a fun night. Lots of prizes, and you're literally betting with quarters. So it's not super expensive, but the prizes are great. So if you want to come out and support, we will be there.
Now, Ms. Nappy, last year for Project Graduation, I went to their quarter auction. I've never been to one before. Oh my gosh, those things are great. I can't believe I've never been to one before. I'm actually going to try to get out to yours on next Sunday if I'm in town. So people, if you've never done it before, you basically you have to you get like a little paddle. It's got a number on it. Oh yeah, not the one where they have the numbers on it, and you put a quarter in, and they draw your number. You're the winner.
Yep.
So that's what I had. I had 2 paddles. I brought like a roll of quarters.
Yep.
And they had like 10, 20 gift baskets. Who knows how many there were? There's a ton of them out there. And I didn't win anything that night, but the money went to Project Graduation. I was happy for that. Hey, yo, I think the one time I didn't play both paddles is when I lost. Of course, that's the one I lost. I'm like, oh, so that's the way. So yeah, be careful. If you get more than one paddle, don't not play them all because that's the one you'll lose. So make sure you come out there. So that's fantastic. Now this fundraiser, VFW, excellent site out in the Estates area, if I remember correctly. Tropicare.
No.
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 Where am I thinking that?
This one is it's Trot Circle, so it's off
Off of
like
41 down by.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha. I know what you're talking about. My bad. So we'll definitely post that on there. And how important fundraiser wise is this for you guys? Is this like your major fundraiser for the year? What does something like this go to for your organization?
So we generally do 2 quarter auctions a year.
Okay.
One is hosted in Port Charlotte, and then the other, Rescue Garage actually hosts the quarter auctions at the VFW.
Oh,
And
good.
they pull in different nonprofits that they work with throughout the year and allow us to have,
Excellent.
have that event, which is really cool. So most of the time, the fundraising from the quarter auctions goes to Project Ray, which is our most costly project. We have a bunch of families that are pre-registered. The only stipulation is someone in the home is battling cancer and there have to be children in the home.
Gotcha.
So they pick up meals from us every month, meals, groceries, that kind of stuff. Christmas, we do Christmas for the kids. We get all the stuff on their wish list and things like that. So that tends to be our most costly event each month. So most of the fundraising goes to that right now.
So it sounds to me like you have a lot of opportunities for these kids. They're not just doing one thing all year long. You are constantly up and running and all that. What do you say to these kids who come out and it's like, hey guys, you're part of a really fantastic organization here. Go out and recruit, go tell your friends. How do they pick up on as a kid? I mean, I know they need the hours for Bright Futures, but what are they telling you they're getting out of all of this?
So some of the kids actually need hours too for different sports, especially like the martial arts and stuff. They're I don't know what it would be called, but the people that are in charge of those things often require hours for the kids. So we've seen stuff like that. NJHS for middle school kids, they require hours. So it's not just the high school kids that need hours.
Oh, good.
It ends up kind of being middle school and up. The big thing with us is there's no commitment. I don't ever want it to be like, all right, well, I said I was going to be there every Tuesday, so I have to, I don't want anyone to feel that way. They should be coming out because they want to give and not feel like it's forced. So there's never any commitment. We always try to do different things, like you said, so it doesn't get stagnant.
Right.
We look to our board and our youth volunteers to come up with ideas. A lot of time they'll kind of see a need and, will come to me and see, like, can we fill that? But we purposely schedule things on different days of the week so that
Excellent.
If you're in a certain sport or church events or whatever it is, you're not excluded from volunteering based on, your schedule. So we try to be super flexible. And a lot of the times the kids come out and they start young and they're doing it just because. And quite honestly, out of all the kids we have, there's really only a handful that actually have me sign hours for them. A lot of these kids have already done the hours.
That's right. That's what happens.
They're way over the hours that they need.
Yep.
We have kids that have 400 or 500 hours and they're freshmen in high school. So it's not a need really for them at that point. They're coming because they enjoy it and they like the feeling they have when they leave.
And Ms. Nabby, I see that, John, I see that, John's on a million boards. I do a lot with the high school, and it's like, you see this, that's weird how like a small percentage of us do a ton, didn't really sign up for it originally, but here we are. And then there's like a lot of people who are not volunteering at all. They're not getting what you're missing on by giving back to your town, be it small, medium, or big, whatever it is you're giving back. It's a really neat feeling to know that you have that opportunity to do that. It's a great thing that you can do that for the kids here. So let's talk about your numbers. Do you have a pretty good size right now? Are you looking to recruit? Are you going to cap it off ever? Or is it everybody can come out as long as they can help out?
Yep. No, we're always looking for extras. Looking back over the past 7 years, we've had, especially because of the clubs that we had at the schools, we've had close to 1,000 different kids volunteer with us.
Whoa.
stay longer than others. Some events, it's literally, 7 or 8 kids. Some events, it's
Wow.
50 or 60 kids. But as far as individuals, we've had close to 1,000 come and go, through
Wow.
different projects.
You got to get a nice big group project on that. So your son was at 18. He'd be the oldest one right now. Had graduated from the Move Mountains organization. Or you got anybody
No,
older?
Dominic Joyce would be our
Oh
oldest.
yeah, the former wrestler, Bobcat wrestler. Sure.
Oh,
Of
and
course.
actually Derek's a year older. Derek Young, he's 22. Derek's
Excellent.
22, and he started with us in high school. So
That's fantastic. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad your husband's there too. I'm assuming I can't see him. I'm guessing there because, you're something there, Miss Nappy. When you make it, I always tell everybody this: if you ever get a photograph by Miss Monica Maya Photography, you made it in town. And not only that, but she put you on the cover of Northport Living, Family of the Year. I don't know. Oh my goodness, how's that? How was that experience for you two? Or your whole family, not just you two, the kids as well.
Well, we're used to Monica because she's done our family photography
Yeah.
since the girls were
Sure.
like 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was cool. And Christina Judd, she wrote the article, and she was really nice to work with, super easy. Like, she sent the questions, we sent them back, and then kind of went back and forth. We were traveling for work at the time, so we were a little less flexible, but she worked with us, and everything turned out well.
That's fantastic. I was kidding with Monica not too long ago. I was at a assisted living facility, and there was a picture of Northport Living, and I'm like, there was her name. Like, oh my gosh, I know who that person is. It was like she told me she's been doing it. I had no idea. So congratulations on that one. That's pretty cool. So now you two are together right now on the same picture there, and I want everybody to know there's a small amount of Northport families that just go above and beyond what their roles individually are. Synergistically wise, you guys do a lot more than just assistant coach or team mom. And I can't help but segue into wrestling here because Mrs. Nappy, even though you're not an official coach, you are the team mom, I'm guessing, and you are like a logistics coach for this team. So I'm going to throw you on this as well. He's what?
She's a team enforcer.
There you go. There you go. You got the knuckles there. You got the knuckles. No, you probably just have to get the look. You probably just give him the look. I bet she just has to give him a look, and that's all it is. So, Coach Nappy, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So you might have heard earlier, I was talking about how we're coming to the end of our winter sports. And wrestling, of course, we know has had a very proud tradition of districts, regionals, and states for many, many, many of the 25 years here. Give us an update on what's going on, if there's something going on this weekend. I know it's getting close to that time of the year for you guys to really ramp up to go to regionals.
Right now, full-blown training. Next weekend is girls districts at Booker. That's Friday. From there, the following week, we've got district boys over at Sarasota High. And then the girls regionals Saturday at North Fort Myers. And then the following week will be regionals up at Armwood. I feel very good about both. I think our girls are going to make it to regionals. We have several boys that should definitely make it to regionals, and then we'll see who makes the cut for states. But states will be the 5th through the 7th.
So you're going to go into March then? Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
All right. So I haven't talked to you in a while. We were originally going to do this show at Northport High School because I wanted to show the youth, but we'll get to the youth in a few weeks there. When we start wrapping up the varsity, we'll go into the youth divisions. So last time I talked to you was, I think, December-ish. Is before the January events and all that. What have you seen since then in terms of any standout performances? Anybody you're surprised that most improved or anything like that you're seeing so far?
I've seen such progress. I mean, some of our younger guys that came in kind of from like a JV into that varsity role, I'm seeing that progress every week. Some of the guys that were varsity are stepping up into a higher level of varsity, getting bigger wins. Some of our elite guys are beating the elite guys throughout the state, beating number ones in other classes. So we're seeing it in all different levels. The girls fighting every week and, getting their names known, and same thing, beating ranked opponents where some of them aren't ranked. So seeing really good stuff with the program right now.
Now, I do want to bring this up one time, and I'm not going to make you uncomfortable here. your juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, they learned about Coach Williams moving on to Welland Park.
Yep.
How have they handled that transition, knowing that it won't be the same coaching staff next year, or maybe it's the same? I don't know how they handled that news.
I think like anything else, there was a little uncertainty there, but we've reassured them. At worst, they get me. So I will be there next year. Coach V's coming back.
Yep.
And, we're going to keep going exactly where we're going. So Nappies will be there, and we're going to keep rocking.
Coach
I think that's been a great addition this year. He's really logistical type. He's kind of on top of things, and he keeps notes, and, he meets with me and he's like, all right, what are we doing with this, or how are we going to do this next year, which has really been a help to me, because the guys are handling the coaching, but in reality, like, we have to work with the scheduling and getting hotel rooms and figuring out, there's just a lot of the backgrounds of the fundraising and things that go into that. And this is one of the first times that I've had a strong assistant coach to work with that's like really driven and into that stuff. He's a guidance counselor. So,
okay.
he's also, he works at Northport High. He's also very good with the kids. Everybody feels like, my Ella will say, anytime like I lose or I feel kind of bummed, I just look at Coach B and his smile just makes me feel so much better.
That's awesome.
So he's been a really welcomed addition. So we're glad that, he plans on hanging on at least as long as we're there for the next few years. But I think he's got like 6 years.
Well, let's bring that up for a minute. You talk about fundraising. I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show or not. The Northport boosters, athletic boosters, is a big flux right now. They've got a lot of changes going on as well. And I don't know how much you guys have to fundraise on your own. How do you talked about hotels. People don't not realize that you guys have other tournaments as well that are out of town. You have to come up with that money. I'm sure. I don't think the school pays for some, most, all. How do you guys do that? How do you balance the fact that you're a public sports team with the fact that your sport, of all the other sports out there, you have a little bit unique added fees and costs?
We definitely have one of the more expensive sports. Our equipment is fairly inexpensive, but like on a regular weekend, if we travel and it's further than, it's like a couple hours or more. Our first tournament was at the Villages in Ocala area. So that was like 3 hours and change. Yep. We have to do overnights because we compete on Friday and then we still compete Saturday. So most of the time the kids are leaving school on Friday by noon, if not earlier. They compete all day up until like 10 o'clock at night. And then they're ready to roll the next morning at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So a weekend away for us between the fees, it's usually like $500 for the boys team to compete, $350 for the girls. We need vans, we need hotel. We're looking at over $2,000 anytime that we're away opening. So we also do a quarter auction. We have other fundraisers that we hold. Modern Woodmen of America.
Wait, how's it get with a quarter one day? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Modern Woodmen is huge. They have given us matches the past few years for our quarter auction, which has been a big help.
We like to highlight our sponsors as well in the show. I think it's important to really thank them for what they're doing and all that. So if you have any links on there, let us know. We'll be happy to put them on here and that they have helped us out. So funding wise, that's something a lot of parents might not know if they're watching the middle school, elementary school, because we're going to get to the youth in a few weeks here. But do the parents have to help come out, or is it pretty much the nappies and the quarter drives and let's make it all happen?
We had our best showing this year with parental support.
Excellent.
In the past, it's just been a handful of parents, and that's really challenging for us because, like you said, it ends up being the same people over and over again. And I don't mind that for me, but I'm uncomfortable to continuously have to ask the same two parents to help. Right. It's difficult. This year has been great. The girl parents really stepped up. The JV parents really stepped up. They showed up at the events. They donated for concession. That's another thing. We do throw a couple of tournaments, and that's a huge moneymaker for us as well. And with the parents donating the things for concession and hospitality.
Alumni.
Yeah, Sharkies in Venice. They catered the hospitality room for us for 2 days over our John Joyce Memorial Tournament. So the Easties family is amazing. That was awesome. We had some other alumni. The Gonzaleses donated a bunch of stuff for concession. So this year was much easier than previous years.
Good.
Great donations for raffles, and
Yeah.
it's been awesome.
You know, that's got to make such a difference when, as a coaching staff, you're not having to worry about, can we spend the night at an out-of-town tournament? Like, you got a solid bunch of parents who are going to help make that happen for you.
Yeah. And like Nicole said, we don't have a choice. It's not you're not going to get up at 4 a.m. to go make weigh-ins and get stuck in traffic. You got to stay there. So
I bet there are other schools that have to do that, though. They don't have that kind of funding. I'm guessing there's schools around there that have to do that.
either that or they don't get out of the locale, and you don't get to see the competition throughout the state. So we're fortunate in that.
Yeah. So what was your biggest moment so far? You said you went to the Villages. And people don't realize, we said goodbye to Patrick Obley, the sports editor of The Sun. He's now at the Villages. They have a very strong high school program up there. We all think it's a retirement city, but it's a full spectrum. They have everything up there, young, middle-aged, old.
The
How was that
there.
trip? How was that school there?
It was fun. It was a nice venue, very, very well organized. So that was a good one. Some of our more difficult ones, Lake Gibson, in the quarterfinals, nearly every person was ranked top 10. You don't typically see that. So that was fantastic. And then Colby Singletary last weekend, same thing, just top tier guys throughout the state. We're getting to bang heads with them. So we get to test the waters, so to say, before states and get to see what we stacked up. We stacked up very nicely. So we're very ambitious and enthusiastic about this next few weeks.
It's interesting because of all the sports out there in high school sports, you guys don't really follow like a traditional home and aways like basketball and baseball would have against traditional schools. You have a different format with dual meets and tournaments, and that counts as a varsity event. It's interesting how that works, and I still don't know the equation on it. How does someone build up to get into districts and regionals or districts?
So districts, everybody, your team gets a roster or a spot for each wrestler. So 14 spots. You can put in all 14. Top 4 districts go to regions, and then top 4 regions go to states. So districts, we should see a good amount of our kids get out of districts. Regions is where you start really getting into the grind and see who makes it out and who doesn't. We've had, great athletes of ours not make it out of regions. So, when you say state qualifier, it's a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
And then, placing at states or you just making it to states is really a great accomplishment. Placing's just like next level. But, some of it's a little bit of chance. Sometimes the bracket's a little stacked on one side and you look out and be on the other side. And, sometimes we're on the unfortunate side of that. But they just got to go in there and wrestle. And I think this year especially we've learned, they do state rankings on some of these platforms and they tell you where you're at. And, we use that as kind of like a guide, but the numbers don't translate, just because you're number 1 versus number 15 doesn't mean number 15 can't give them a good one. So
of course
we see here, and that's been very, very good, I think, for morale and confidence for these kids.
Are you guys part of a strong region, your region?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You get to look at the rankings and see who the top, the rankings we follow is top 25. So when you see kids in the top 25, you're getting a good athlete. We have several at Northport ranked top 25.
Oh, good.
Some up there in the top 10. So we've got some hammers, and we're going to see what we can do.
How many of your seniors, or how many of your teammates are seniors here this year, the boys and the girls?
3-ish boys, right?
Okay. That's not a lot. 3 out of 14.
Am I missing?
Yeah.
I'm talking varsity. Devin Lewinsky and Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then girls, I don't think we're losing.
Just Bristol.
Yeah, just one.
So you're
one
going to
girl.
have a pretty strong program next year as well, it sounds like. You only have 3 seniors on the boys, 1 on the girls.
Yeah,
out of
and
14 weight classes. Yeah.
We're optimistic with the off season. These kids that are learning and growing this year, if they can come in off season, we'll be ready to roll next year. So very excited to come to Northport.
We have a lot of youngins right now, so there's definitely work to be put in. This was for some of them their first experience in wrestling, and we don't have a huge team, so we brought a lot of JV kids up to varsity to kind of test the waters, and for some it was good, and others it was a little bit intimidating. But as long as they can stick with it, they'll see big improvements in the coming years.
And the question I asked last year, because I asked the boys the same thing. It's always that smallest one or two weight classes. How'd that fill out for you? Did you get anybody in those little flyweights or anything?
We did. We're actually,
Good.
we've got a real tough lower class. Like a lot of them are a little newer, but they are tough as nails. So you give them one more year and they're going to be competing at this high level. So I'm very
That's
excited about
awesome.
it. But
Well, guys, I'm so happy for you. Before I forget, have you reached out to Elevate Foundation? They're raising money for football tonight. I just thought about that. Like, wait a minute, we got to get you on board on that. Have you met them yet?
Yeah, I'll have to look into
Okay,
that.
well, I'm going to get you their contact. They started off. They helped baseball out last year. One of their family members on the baseball team, and then they are branching out a little bit. They're fantastic. They're not too far from here, and they run these monthly events where they turn into fundraisers, and they give I don't know how much they give back to whatever the organization. But yeah, tonight's football. They're trying to get basketball next month. So yeah, I'll definitely get you in contact with them so they can help you out. You got a great program. You know, roughly how many would you say are on your combined girls, boys, JV, varsity? How many roughly would you say you have in your program?
close to 40.
Yeah, about 40 kids.
There you go. That's a major sport now. That's not a tiny little. That's not like that's a pretty big deal.
No, and then some excitement yesterday from Spin. Saw a lot of the Woodland Middle wrestlers coming in, signing up for wrestling and also swim. But very excited about that. So we get to see those kids again.
That's awesome. Well, Ms. Abby, Coach Abby, we're gonna come out. Like I said, we'll wait a few more weeks. We'll come and see the youth side, the middle school and all that. So, I'd like to see you guys when the season's over. Give you a wrap up at the end there and see how things are going. You can give us a quick little synopsis of how everybody did, the state, the regionals and all that. So, any parting questions you want to say before you go on to district states, regional states there?
No, we got our fingers crossed. I think we're going to be having some good news. I really hope so. But they could go either way. I mean, like I said, we beat very highly ranked kids, but they're close matches. So it may not go in our favor next, but we look pretty good.
All right. Well, Coach Nappy, boys wrestling, Mrs. Nappy, Move Mountains. Both organizations work hand in hand quite a bit. And whether you like it or not, if you're a wrestling parent, you're going to be an assistant coach. Now we know you're an enforcer. So congratulations again on everything this season. And, Mr. Nappy, if you're a coach next year, that's fantastic. We got a great interviewer waiting to go. So I appreciate this. So, guys, thank you so much today. Don't forget, tonight, you got a couple more hours. The link is there. It's 5 o'clock. They start. It's going to be the big Elevate Foundation fundraiser for Northport High School's football. And then bundle up. Come on out to the preserve. Tonight, I want to say it's 7 o'clock kickoff. I got to look again. Boys regional. That's right. They won the districts. That's pretty cool. They've had 2 districts now in the last couple of years. Titles in their possession. They're going to defend themselves here against Plant. City's coming down. Plant Panthers, I believe, is who we're taking on. And that will get them to the semifinals and regionals, and that's one more away from the Final Four. So it'll be a great day today, great weekend. Don't forget, next Sunday, VFW here at Northport. Blue Mountains are going to have their quarter auction. Really neat to see. If you've never seen one, go on YouTube, type in quarter auctions. I'll show you the format. I'll have everyone here at Bobcat Blitz Sports Update. Again, parents, don't forget, get those coaches on our show. We want to highlight your teams. We've been begging for 2.5 years. Help me out. Get your kids on our TV show. Take care, guys. Have a great weekend. See you.
Thank you.